Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Today is Monday, July 26, 2021. Welcome to the evening edition to the Grand Solar Minimum Report. Let's get started with our space weather section. Right now we're looking at solar wind speeds at 326.1 kilometers per second with a density of 12.4. Now, if you guys tuned in this morning, you know that solar wind speeds were below 300 kilometers per second. We were talking about the effects of the jet stream and how that correlates. And right now, solar wind speeds are still pretty low. 326 is not where you would expect to be when you're talking about strengthening solar cycles. And at this point, we've probably been in solar cycle 25 for about a year now. So still not really improvements on solar wind speeds. We are expecting a slight uptick in geomagnetic unrest by July 28th. That was from that northern coronal hole that I showed you guys, that really little tiny one. NOAA thinks we could see a KP of 4 at best. So right now we are not looking at a G1 geomagnetic storm, just a little bit of geomagnetic unrest. All right, still looking at sunspots, AR2847 and AR2846, sunspot number of 24, average of about 12 sunspots per active region. Cosmic rays remain unchanged at 8.2%. That is a 0.2% increase over the last 48 hours. Pardon me. The TCI did drop about 0.16 on the value. So we are now down to 5.02. So every day we think we're gaining a little bit of TCI, and then we notice that the temperature continues to drop in the upper atmosphere of our planet. And right now, no major coronal holes, no CMEs, no solar flares, nothing to speak of. The sun is relatively quiet for now. And let's go over to thegrandssolarminimum.com and our space weather section. And, oh, there is Earth Null. That was what I was talking about earlier today, how the jet stream is up in the north right now. Of course it's in the north because it's summer, but my point is that we're seeing it reach further and up north, and some unusual troughing going on here, and that has to do with weak solar wind speeds. But back to space weather section here. Not a lot of action on the solar X-ray flux. KP indices have been averaging between 0 and 1. And we're going to look at the big picture, skip the SDO motion because it's really the same old, same old. But look here, we have the potential for another sunspot region far beyond the eastern limb. If these two happen to make it all the way to the western limb, this area will be piercing the eastern limb by the time that we see these two sunspots fade away on the non-Earth facing side. So again, I saw somebody actually bragging about that we have 77 days in a row of sunspots on the sun. If you want to count these sunspots, because I'm not so sure these were counted back in the Maunder minimum, honestly. So folks, looking at the sunspot information, we have had a very weak start to this cycle so far. The solar cycle 25 with the sunspots that have already become have averaged between 11 and 15 on the sunspot number per group. That's just not very strong yet. Indications that we still could possibly, just maybe, who knows, this just might be a campfire, right? Nothing at all. Could we get a spotless day here somewhere? Maybe. It's possible. The sun sure is acting funny, right? So we'll keep an eye on it. Right now, it looks like the sun is doing its usual thing, off and on, quiet, a little bit active. It had a couple of busy weeks. Now it's time to take a mini hibernation here, as John calls it, is solar hibernation, not minimums. But any way you want to look at it, the sun is still showing. That we are currently in solar minimum conditions. All right, let's take a look and see any kind of seismic or volcanic activity. And we did have a strong and shallow earthquake registered by the USGS as a 6.2 that hit Indonesia around 12:09 UTC. This was on July 26th today. The agency is reporting a depth of 6.2 miles. The EMSC is reporting the same magnitude and depth. There are no injuries, no deaths, and no structural damage that has been reported to this time. And also, excuse me, there is no tsunami information at the time. So just to announce, one moderate earthquake today is 6.2, and right now all is well. Series of deadly crashes after dust storm hits Utah. It's extremely dry out there in the west. We know that. We've seen very hot temperatures over the past several days. And therefore, with those conditions, we are going to see some things that look like things you would see in a desert. And right now, at least 8 people have been killed and several others critically injured in a series of car crashes on Interstate 15 near Kenosha, Mallard County in Utah. This was Sunday. According to the Utah Department of Public Service, 22 vehicles were involved in the crash after high winds caused a sand or dust storm and impaired visibility on the roadways around 16:30 local time. The crash happened on Interstate 15 near milepost 152 between the Meadow and Kenosha exits. Southbound traffic in the area was shut down until early Monday morning. Some minor crashes in the midst of the storm blocked the roadway, said the DPS. In the process of coming to a stop, semi appears to have rear-ended a pickup. The most significant crashes happened behind the semi, with 2 vehicles becoming wedged underneath the back of the trailer. They appear to have been hit from behind by another pickup. Another vehicle appears to have sideswiped the semi-trailer as well. Folks, these wind events with the dust, and I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to zoom in a little bit too. Check out the haze, folks. The haze back here. So we're dealing with dry conditions, the haze from the fires, the wildfires, obviously, and then a dust storm that causes basically a whiteout, like a blizzard. Usually these roads are known for that kind of accident, where blizzard conditions impairing your visual and causing these deadly pileups. We've seen them on YouTube and Twitter, where the cars just slide into each other one after. It's a horrifying scene, and unfortunately we lost 8 people with several others in critical condition. So we will continue to monitor, and hopefully that number does not go up. All right, check it out. Widespread damaging and locally destructive winds, including potentially multiple small and fast-moving tornadoes, hit South Australia. That's right. South Australia has again experienced a wet and very windy few days due to the passage of multiple low-pressure systems and cold fronts since Thursday, July 22nd. On Saturday, we saw widespread damaging and locally destructive winds, including potentially multiple small and fast-moving tornadoes causing significant tree and property damage across Adelaide, particularly in the southern suburbs. At this stage, looking at radar evidence and damage patterns, they indicate that there were multiple small and fast-moving tornadoes along the cold front. I gotta stop. I've read that 3 times. I know better. I saw this before the show started. Sometimes I'm like Ron Burgundy when it comes to reading from the teleprompter. You just put it in front of me and I'll read it. But if you have Ron Burgundy syndrome, sometimes you find yourself reading the exact same paragraph 3 times. Come on, let's go, people. Anyway, what we're going to say one more time is multiple small tornadoes and fast-moving tornadoes moved across the ground. Again, the rain totals here, about 1.5 inches in Lindswood, about 1.5 inches in Balhana. Nothing like what we've been talking about in India and China and Turkey and other spots. But still, this is significant rain. And here's the problem with these new reports of 1.5 inches here and 2 inches there. The recent weather in China, in India, in Turkey, in Iran, in Germany, in the UK, the United States, when we see these giant storms dropping 6, 8, 10, 12, 20 inches of rain, it desensitizes us from 1.5 inches of rain. And let's slow down here, because 1.5 inches of rain for most people is still about a half a month's worth of rain. So to get that in a 24-hour period, that's still quite a bit of precipitation. But all these extreme events I feel like, are starting to desensitize me. So, like, when I'm reading the story, like, only 1.5 inches fell. No, I mean, that's still significant, folks. That's a lot of rain to fall at one time. And we are continuing to see widespread globally an uptick in these larger rainfall events. And they continue to increase. And again, we're only at the beginning of this grand solar minimum cycle. London has been hit with flash floods after torrential rains. Yes, even Londoners have seen streets flooded by torrential streams and tube stations being submerged underwater as a heat wave in the UK capital was replaced by heavy rains. Some people even had to abandon cars stranded in flooded roads. Earlier this week, the British capital saw some of the hottest days of the year as temperatures rose to over 30 degrees Celsius. Now, the heat seems to be the least of Londoners' problems as some parts of the city were submerged in water, resembled the alarming images from a massive flooding which hit Germany and Belgium earlier this month. Photos and videos to social media on Sunday showed cars plowing through flooded streets, while some roads looked more like turbulent rivers. Some car owners had to abandon their vehicles that were caught in the streams and almost fully submerged. Others were stuck in their cars. Emergency services had to use boats to rescue them, as happened to one unfortunate motorist who got stranded under a bridge in Worcester Park in Sutton. Some witnesses reported seeing improvised geysers as the storm water systems apparently got overwhelmed with torrential floods. I've seen that here in New York several times. But only recent have I seen stuff like that, where the sewers look like they're just shooting out water like a geyser from manhole covers because of how much that we're talking about as far as rain. What's going on? Chat's hopping tonight. Good to see everybody out there. Let's talk about Tropical Storm In-Fa putting millions at risk in eastern China. That's right. The same area that just received the 24 inches of rain in 28 hours is dealing with this tropical storm. It's going to be bringing major impacts across east central China, including Shanghai early this week. Already we're talking about up to 30 inches of rain being brought into the city that brought us the 24 inches. We'll add in another 7 inches or 6 inches on top of that. Here's a problem too. Shanghai is in one of these affected areas and they've shut down ports. They've shut down a lot of things. Another 2 feet of rain is expected from this storm. A maximum total of 48 inches is possible with this, and I can tell you that 48 is going to be somewhere near the city of Zhucheng, where we had the 24.1 inches of rain from Sunday into Monday. And since Friday, the outer rain bands in In-Fa began to push into the region. Parts of the city have picked up at least 30 inches to speak so far. So they are well underway, on their way to receiving that storm max of 48 inches if this continues at this rate. Just insane that when you think it's over, you got your annual rainfall in a little over a day. You got your yearly rainfall in over a day, and now you're dealing with a tropical typhoon. Sustained winds in the mid-50s right now, miles per hour. Nothing crazy, but just to add injury to insult with the massive floods, people missing, damage, everything. Now we're dealing with the typhoon. And again, we are just at the very beginning of what could be a long series of extreme weather events that will continue to pick up into frequency as we move further into the grand solar minute. Even as we are heading toward the maximum, we are still going to have some record-breaking anomalies. And we're going to see some stuff that we thought we'd never seen before. Let's check out what is happening right now in the tropics. A whole lot of nothing. The East Coast on alert for some storms along the coast. Starting to see these warnings and watches across the Northwest starting to fade away, all the heat advisories. Now they're moving across to the central part of the United States, down into the south. Parts of Florida also looking at heat advisories. And that's about it, folks. As far as what we got going, anything severe tonight, well, that's going to be somewhere closer to North Carolina, Virginia. And those were those severe thunderstorms that we had from what hit Chicago. So good news on that front. It's been a while since I've done this, but by popular demand, I am now going to go over 2 sets of weather maps. I'm going to go over Europe, the UK, Germany, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, France, Spain, you name it, Italy. We're going to go over those maps again like we did back in the day, okay? And go over the temperatures, because I've got a lot of friends over there in the UK, and I've gotten away from showing these maps for you folks over there in Europe. And we are starting to pick up a lot of subscribers from this part. If you're up watching right now, God bless you. It's somewhere around 2 in the morning, I think, right now for you folks. So get to bed. Come on, just listen to us in the morning. Just kidding. All right, here we go. So what are we expecting for Europe here in the next few days to come? Lots of rain showers, it looks like, for parts of the UK once again. France as well. Moving into Germany, Denmark also could be looking at some rain on Wednesday. More low pressure forming over the UK once again, and bringing more rain showers to London as if they need it after Sunday's debacle. This low pressure kind of stalling out and bringing rain to the northern part of Europe. Meanwhile, things are staying a little bit dry, but you notice a little bit of precipitation developing near the Alps. That will continue to persist southward. By Friday, July 30th, things starting to dry out just a little bit before some showers return to England and Wales and also Ireland. And then we have a little bit of rain moving across Germany and clearing up just nicely by Saturday. But once again, closer to the Alps, another low-pressure system bringing lots of moisture to the area. Not cold enough for snow, but still, you start to get the feeling that we're starting to see these setups for these patterns. And a friend of ours on Twitter, David Birch, thinks that there's a possibility that there's a signal here that is showing that this area here in the UK could be signaling the end of its summer very shortly. More rain to the northern parts of UK and Norway, Denmark. Hello to our friend Heinrich. And really just a wet pattern across the United Kingdom for many, many days to come. Pretty dry across France and Spain and Portugal. Parts of Germany as well, Poland. And then a big, massive low-pressure system is forecasted to hit somewhere around the 11th of August, once again, to the UK. More rain. So, guess what? Folks that live in the UK, we're going to see a lot of rain over the next several days. Not surprising, right? That's what you're used to. How about the temperatures? What are we expecting over here? Right now, these are very, very pleasant temperatures. Nothing too crazy, especially after the heat wave that you guys have just gotten through. High temperatures on Tuesday, July 27th, not too shabby at all. Wednesday's high temperature is very comfortable, 20 degrees Celsius in parts of England and throughout the UK, the mid-teens, not bad. France and parts of Spain. Spain's heating it up, but France, comfortable. Nice summer heat of 22 degrees Celsius, and it looks pretty nice for now at the end of July, but here we start seeing temperatures fading a little bit in the UK already by Friday, July 30th. We've got more yellows than we do oranges for daytime highs on the 31st. And by the time we get to August 1st, still seeing temperatures pretty much like summer, but low temperatures. We're seeing a lot more green at night. And check that out. The yellows are starting to creep a little bit further southward. And I start to see what David Birch might be talking about, folks. So if you live in the UK, things do look to take a little bit of a turn here for the northern parts of the UK. Southern parts, London and whatnot, not so much. But temperatures do look pretty comfortable across the UK. And then an indication of a quick warm-up here by Monday, August 9th. Guys, I really don't like to go past 7 days on these outlooks. But it does appear to me, after all the hoopla, these are daytime highs by August 11th, folks. You see some green in there. That's right. And I'm talking about, when I say in here, I'm talking about over here in the UK. We got some greens, folks. Those are daytime highs, 40s and 50s. August 11th. Don't want to make too much of it yet, but we will keep our eyes on it. How much longer are we going to see the summer heat? It does appear that it's trying to wind up a little early, especially if we're seeing highs in the 40s and 50s by mid-August, if not earlier than that. So interesting to watch. Just, in fact, how much cooler is it going to get over there for our friends across the pond? Let's take a look now at the lower 48 here in the United States. Before we do that, I want to show you guys, for those of you who follow Dr. Roy Spencer, he will release his numbers, I think, on August 2nd, because the 1st is on a Sunday. So usually he doesn't really do much work on the weekends. But Monday, August 2nd, we will have the next reading for the global temperatures. Now, right now we're at negative 0.01, okay, Celsius. So we're barely below baseline. Currently, and this is according to Climate Change Institute and the University of Maine, climaterealizer.org. They are reporting us at a 0.2 degrees Celsius above baseline. With all that's being said right now about the record heat that is happening in the Northwest and in the Northern Plain states, I believe that record heat is accounting for the slight warmth that we're going to get for the month of July. But folks, bear with me here. We only went up at a value of 0.20 if it holds to that. And we'll see what temperatures look like here for the rest of the month across the United States. It definitely is summer here in the States. No indication anywhere yet that shows me here in the U.S. we're looking at summer winding down anytime soon. So let's take a look at our precipitation map starting with tonight. Showers across the Tennessee Valley. Some could be severe moving into the southeast. Storms in the Great Lakes moving into western New York by Wednesday, July 28th. Storms across the south in Georgia, South Carolina, and also Tampa, Florida. And light rain across parts of Arizona, Utah, and northern parts of California. More rain will form throughout the day on Wednesday into the evening, clearing out some high pressure coming into the northeast, giving us some dry weather in the northeast on Thursday. More rain and showers for Wisconsin, northern Indiana, and parts of Michigan and Ohio as well, as this storm is a slow mover through Thursday. It could affect central Ohio by early Friday morning, and the northeast also looking to get a piece of rain from this system as well that's diving through. After that, gets a little quiet. High pressure tries to settle in, but another low pressure system is making its way through the Great Lakes and the Canadian border and should affect the northeast by August 1st. That's on Sunday. Especially if you live in Buffalo, New York, you could see some localized flooding as heavy rain is expected on August 1st. Now, anything past this is just speculation and an idea of what's going to happen to come. We do see some more rain in the southwest. Good news, they need as much rain as we can get out there right now. It's not going to be enough. You see that heavy low-pressure system moving across western New York. That's midday Sunday. The storms get heavier as the energy of the day continues. And into Syracuse, Rochester, by the evening, the capital region in North Country, New York, all the way into Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, we'll see showers and storms. Possibly severe thunderstorms Sunday night in Tennessee, the border of Tennessee and Alabama, near the Manchester, Deckard, Winchester areas as well for Sunday, August 1st. And then after that, well, just a stormy pattern really repeating itself in the south and the east. More storms moving up into the, look at this. That's an interesting feature. The high pressure system is taking a position on the outside of the East Coast, and it's going to really direct the weather in a way that is going to cause a little bit of, well, flood issues possibly with this kind of pattern setup, to be honest with you. But lots of rain coming for Ohio, Indiana, Mississippi. This is the first week of August. There's a high pressure system that kind of gets stuck. It's dominating in the Great Lakes and then tries to move off out of the country by the 4th of August before finally getting thrown into the Atlantic and just kind of chilling out in the mid part of the Atlantic and just churning up all that moisture from the Gulf and the Atlantic and putting it up on the East Coast, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, all the way up into the Northeast. So a very wet predicting storm pattern here by the JFS. So the Northeast and the UK have something a little bit in trouble, or in common, and there is a little trouble, I guess, too. We will see plenty of precipitation over the next several days. Now let's check out what kind of temperatures we will see as well. And right now, things remain pretty hot across the lower 48. Not much will change across the northern plain states. This is Friday, temperatures in the 80s and 90s. Cooling down a little bit just in the northeast, below average temperatures on July 30th near the capital region of New York. Also, Rochester, Syracuse, Buffalo could see low, high temperature records broken in the mid-60s. August 1st, temperatures pleasant overnight. That heat trying to race up the East Coast once again, and then a little bit of a cold front tries to move through on August 2nd. Now, this is going to keep temperatures pretty much mild across the Ohio Valley, Indiana, Michigan in the mid-60s. Yeah, August 2nd, dog days of summer in central Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, you could be looking at a high of around 65 degrees on August 2nd. Yeah. Continuing to see that heat dissipate across the middle part of our country in the first week of August. Folks, these are the dog days of summer. Now, I'm not saying the heat's gone. I'm just noticing that we are seeing that really hot stuff trying to get rid of for once and for all for the summer. However, interesting patterns here. Lots of warmth air over the lakes here in the Great Lakes as well. Summer does return, though, by late first week of August. 80s all over the United States. Into the 8th of August, once again, we see it get really hot across the central part of the United States, northern plain states, and the Southwest, once again, back in the triple digits. So August could shape up to be a very interesting month. We're going to start off a little bit below average in the beginning of August, and then it looks like we're going to get above average by the second week of August for most spots. So it'll be interesting over the next couple of days to see exactly where these models are going and how much longer do we think we'll see this hot summer weather. I said short, hot summer. My guess is that we're going to see hot weather through August, and things in places like the Northeast, the Great Lakes areas, the Northwest tipping part of the United States, like Oregon and Washington, Montana, northern parts of Idaho. I think we'll start to see cooler weather starting to prevail in late August, heading into September, and I would not be shocked to see some damaging frost, unfortunately, for some of our farmers across the northern plains in September, even as early as October. All right, let's take a look at ocean temperatures. Where are we at right now? Well, El Nino is a no-show. We are still in a La Nina watch. Temperatures did drop pretty dramatically over the past several days, but have rebounded slightly and are now appearing to curve back down. Whoa! Is there a volcano in the North Atlantic? Because that's a huge jump in temperatures for the North Atlantic. It has been miserable up until about June 15th. And then all of a sudden we have seen a huge spike in temperatures in the North Atlantic. Now, this correlates to the snow mass. We have seen snow gains all spring and early summer. That has since kind of chilled out, so to speak, no pun intended. But it has. It's chilled out, and that is also correlating with temperatures in the North Atlantic that continue to go up in values for this time. All right, that's going to do it for me tonight on this Grand Solar Minimum update. Please tune in tomorrow morning for our next solar update on space weather, and a look at our short-term forecast. We hope everyone had a great night. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you like what we do here at the Grand Solar Minimum, please become a paid member here at YouTube or Patreon, or just check out our Teespring shop where we sell Grand Solar Minimum shirts, cups, you name it, we have it. They're great conversation pieces. We need to get the word out. The truth needs to be heard about what's happening to our climate and why. And right now, just like yesterday, exposing Dr. Strong's definition of a Grand Solar Minimum, that is why the people in the AGW side do not understand the science that goes behind solar cycles. It's clear. Clearly, they are not getting it. All right, folks, that's going to do it for me tonight. Thanks for tuning in once again. And until tomorrow morning, we will talk soon.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform. Buy a t-shirt or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.